And after that heavy, humiliating defeat in 2024, the New Patriotic Party is on a tangent to rebuild. And in fact, they've taken an interesting trajectory, which is to go to, the primaries very, very early. And by taking that decision, if you do the math, you will see that they are about 136 days to their presidential flag bearer, race in January 2026. That is a very, very bold decision taken by the party, one that many have said is very unconventional, looking at how, the party has been organizing its primaries from, the bottom to the top. Now they are starting from the top to the bottom, hoping to come back strong in 2028. But what makes this interesting is that if you look at the numbers, it's not currently in favor of the NPP at all. A party that won power in 2020 with votes of somewhere around 6.7 million, voters, now talking about just somewhere around 9 million votes in the 2024 presidential election. What makes this interesting or fascinating is the fact that if you decide to track back, this shows you that if the NPP is hoping to come back strong in 2028, there is a big gap that they need to fill, especially looking at the gap between them and the NDC and what happened in the 2024 presidential election. And beyond the presidential election, many say that, well, even the gap there might not even be bigger if you compare it to what is happening in the presidential, race. If you look at the chart, what you see is that big gap between the NPP and the NDC in terms of the parliamentary makeup. But they are very hopeful that come 2028, they will come very strong. They are on a very careful path to rebuild. And I'm going to speak to the man who is in the helm of affairs. He is the chairman of the National Council of Elders. And this is someone who plays an integral role in the NPP. After this short break, Hackman Owusu-Agyemang will be my guest. We will be going deep into the NPP coming 2026 flag bearer race that so far some 5 people have filed. There are so many concerns, including, monetization and, significant accusations against the party. Some saying that, well, there is that deliberate attempt to swing the race in favor of one particular candidate. When I sit down with him, I'll put all those questions to him, plus some national, issues that we will be picking his thoughts on. After this short break, Hackman Owusu-Agyemang will be my guest. And thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express. And PM Express, as you always know, is brought to you by Synthes Tank. It is strong, it is tough. Academic Times, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter toothpaste. And Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, it is not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, which is Synthes Tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to, handle our Ghanaian weather, rain or shine. Synthes Tank has your back. Synthes Tank, strong, tough. The Academic Times journal is launching soon with 3 distinctive graphic publications and a journal to showcase and empower students across all educational platforms, while the journal and the tertiary G6 to ensure that tertiary students' research make an impact. That's very important there. Now, always after PM Express, you need to brush before you sleep. Every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth, every morning and at night before you sleep helps you fight germs and, cavities, protecting your teeth and leaving your teeth with 10 times stronger. Pepsodent, every smile matters. And my guest here, tonight has joined me in studio. He is a towering figure in the NPP. He's a chairman of the National Council of Elders, and they are particular about the upcoming 2025 flag bearer race, and they are the ones steering the whole race. Hackman Owusu-Agyemang is my guest, and he's in the studio. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good.
I mean, I watched you 10 years ago on PM Express, personality profile. You don't seem to have changed. You are 84. What's your secret?
Well, almost 84. Well, the good Lord has been gracious, and we've been working ourselves, and I suppose we have to make sure we eat the right food, and I don't do exercises.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we have to do something to get us going, and we're here, and we thank to the Almighty God. It's by His grace that we are here.
Well, you look the same, but your party, NPP, doesn't look the same at all, especially if you look at the 2024 election, presidential and parliamentary, very humiliating defeat. I know you have a strategy under your sleeves, and that's the reason why you decided to go for an early, primaries. But, I mean, let's help us understand what informed that decision to change your model this time around, especially going for the presidential primary before all other ones.
Well, basically, we never thought we would get such a result. It was a bit of a shock, and we've always believed in doing the right thing at the right time. But this time around, we got a few things not right. And when you are where we were, and coming down all the way to 87 MPs, then you want to realize that there's something wrong. And so you do need to take a good look at the situation and see how best, going forward, what you can do to correct the situation. You see, basically, every political party, or you form a political party, to win elections so that you can implement your ideas, your philosophy, and what have you, and the rest. Now, when it comes to the time when, for one reason or the other, you lose power, then it means you are not doing too well. And so it was important that we took a step back, take a look at what had happened, and see, going forward, how we gather ourselves. They always say, our elders say too, that falling down is natural sometimes, but how you get up is what's important. So we had to examine how we were going to get up, get ourselves out of this, the little hole that we have found ourselves in. And I believe that was that informed the decision of the majority, and I say the majority of the people at that particular council meeting, to do a bit of a palongo dance and let us take the leader first. There are a whole lot of reasons, but that was what it was.
But I mean, there are those who say that if you look at the New Patriotic Party, the UP tradition, there are some who say that currently if they look at the party, they are not able to recognize the party that contested for election for the first time in 1992. They say a lot has changed. When you look at the NPP, do you recognize that same party with the UP traditions?
Quite a few things have changed. But for me personally, what is difficult for me to accept is the fact that when the PNDC was in power, the soldiers disrupted our onward march to prosperity. We fought like nobody's business. We really fought hard to try and correct the situation. Here we are eventually, with the assistance from some friends, we managed to correct the situation, go into democratic rule. And then when we have now fought for all this, it so turns out that the party who were insistent on keeping Rawlings and his group in power now use the same sort of result that we have achieved now to rule us. And initially, we found that things were not what they should have been, because going back to 1992, when we boycotted the elections for the parliamentary elections, we just decided, and I remember our chairman, Mr. Darocha, may he rest in peace, saying, we will do business. So we did business and eventually came into the Fourth Republic and what we had done. So it's painful. It's painful. But as I said, never say die, as they say. And we are going to do everything possible to make sure that the party reorganizes itself and then go on for the elections in 2028. And what really we are doing as the Council of Elders, which you referred to, is to make sure that things are done properly, that the elections are free, fair, and what have you, so that nobody can complain. Because we have suffered. This is not the first time. We've suffered. I remember in 2008, was it? 2008, we had a bit of difficulty, little difficulty, and I personally believe that the reason why we could not break the 8 at that time was because there was a few splinter groups around the place and we were not together. So what we have to do now is to make sure we bring everybody on board. We stay together, work together, and God willing, we should be able then to change the parameters, change the geography, change the situation. We haven't given up at all, but what we are seeking to do, they always ask, when problems come into a society, where are the elders? Where are the elders? Then there comes a time to when the young people say, oh, they are of no use. And when there are problems, they ask, where are the elders? So we believe that the elders now should work harder than before, and make sure that the young, the old, the middle-aged, all of us get together to be able to fight proper electoral fight clean. But what we want is a level playing field, not anything that is skewed for the government in power. That is absolutely unacceptable. It's unacceptable and it's not to be done. You read the newspapers, a lot of things happened, and for us, 1 or 2 people, they arrest them. 1 or 2 people, they interrogate them. But then we also saw what happened from the other side, from the government side, and nothing was done. That's not how to run a democracy, no. So we insist that things must be done properly. And at the appropriate time, the elections will be carried through. And for now, we believe that we've made our point, and we are hoping that both the government, the security agencies, the Electoral Commission, all of them would see what the point that we are making. And so these are issues that we are now doing the little things around the whole, around the parameters, and then see precisely going forward what we'll do.
Yeah. Now, talking about fair playing ground, there are a lot of concerns about the money involved in this race, especially the presidential flag bearership race, where some say that you're already charging 100,000 Ghana cedis for nomination form. and some 500,000 Ghana cedis for filing fee. And there are those who are also saying that you are hoping to charge an additional amount, which your party referred to as development fee. And many have said that that could serve as sort of like a financial or monetary barrier in this whole race. But you speak of offering a fair playing ground. Don't you think that this is actually blocking some people from contesting?
Isaac, I agree with you that the monetization of the electoral process in Ghana, both sides actually, is not the best. You might have somebody who is smart, brilliant, can go forward, and he hasn't got the money, so the wherewithal, so he doesn't come forward and win. Right now, what we are doing is that because we don't have too much money, we have to make sure that those and what we have to do to...
But you're a party that just left power 9 months ago. How come you don't have money?
But, I mean, the party, to a large extent, is different from the government. So when we say we are in power, no, that shows that when we're in party, when we're in government, we did not sort of push money bags to the party. If we did, we would have that much money. So
are you charging the development fee because you feel the NPP is broke at the moment and you need some funds?
Fee, in a way, yes. I mean, the result there for all these things are embodied in the fact that we have monetized the electoral process here. And that is why we are trying to do what we call the expansion. The limited, so we couldn't do it immediately because time was not of the essence and was not at our disposal. But we said we would do the limited expansion, bring in a whole lot of people so that paying money to get the vote will be difficult. And that's what we are trying to do. And I believe that it will work.
The charging of the development fee, is this the first time the party is bringing this out, or it's always been there?
No, it's been there, but it's not been an issue. And I think in the past, it's been reasonably small, not to bother anybody.
How much are we talking about in 2026?
Right now, the elections committee are the ones who can tell you how much they're charging, because the National Council decided that the elections committee would indicate the so-called development fee.
But I mean, reading the guidelines you put out for the race, I thought it was the national elders and the council who are supposed to set this development fee. So you don't have any idea of how much candidates or aspirants are expected to pay?
Little confusion, which I must try and explain. You see, we have the National Council, which is the second highest body in the organization. We have the conference, number one. Then we have the National Council. Then we have the National Executive. Then we come to the steering committee. But the National Council of Elders is absolutely different from the National Council. So that decision was taken by the National Council and not the National Council of Elders. But when you become a bit lazy in your verbiage, in what you say, instead of saying National Council of Elders, people say National Council. No. The National Council is a much bigger body. And the National Council of Elders are composed of those who have served in the past with distinction and who have worked well and who are now there to advise the party. And when things go bad, they have to...
But you're the chairman of the Council of Elders. You don't have an idea of how much the development fee will be?
The development fee is the prerogative of the elections committee.
How much are they charging now?
Well, I'm not a candidate.
But you should know you are the chairman of the National Council of Elders.
Well, is it everything in an organization, you know, that you sort of say?
I mean, but this is a requirement, right? It's a requirement, it's part of the requirement that the aspirants are expected to meet. And a lot of them, they have concerns that they may be disqualified based on their inability to pay this amount of money.
Yes, if we have...
Some are quoting 4.6, some are saying 5 million, some are saying 15 million. How much is the development fee?
When you have a situation where we say that the development levy is compulsory, it's part of the package of your submission to the Elections Committee.
So at this moment, is it compulsory?
It is. If you don't pay, as far as I understand, if you don't pay the, what they call
development levy?
Development levy, then it means your documents are not complete. So, it's almost going to the Electoral Commission and they say 100,000 and say, I haven't paid. Then your papers...
So are you going to disqualify aspirants based on their inability to pay development fee?
Well, sometimes you must also be realistic and practical and pragmatic. If there was not that element, you know, once upon a time we had 17 people.
Yeah.
If there was not that element, this time maybe you may get 20, 30. And sometimes a matter of winning and taking out some of the people. But if you are good and you have carried yourself properly and people believe that you can lead the party, end result, they come together and get the funds to help you. If you go back to 1992, for example, we had been in the wilderness for 30 years, our party. But when we needed to work, we went round. We sweat like nobody's business, and then went from place to place, and then eventually put money together and were able to pay the fees and also pay. Running an electoral campaign is expensive. You have to go to every nook and corner of this country. If you don't do that, the others will say you have sort of slighted them. And so you have to go, and it's expensive. So we then try to do it. So let's put it this way. If any of the contestants has the confidence of the majority of people who belong to our party, they will contribute to help pay the fee that is being prescribed by the Elections Committee.
So in this instance, are you taxing the party members to fund candidates or aspirants to be able to go through the race?
No, we're not tasking them. We're saying, I mean, the National Council, i.e. the party, because after the conference comes the National Council. The National Council is saying, if you want to be a candidate, there are 3 fees to pay. So if you pay 2 and there's 1 outbreak, that means you haven't qualified. And all that we are saying that whatever the amount is, find it and come and pay at the closing date. When they ring the bell, that's it. I mean, if you have not been able to pay, then you are not... No.
Let's look at the timeline. 136 days more to go. How do you expect all 5 aspirants to raise over 4.6 million Ghana cedis
well, you are
as
saying
development fees?
4.6, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I am not saying.
So how much are we looking at?
I don't know until they come to us and bring us the report. I don't know, but it's not difficult.
But it's a key requirement that your council will look at in terms of disqualifying some of the candidates. So how come you, as the chairman of the National Council, you don't know about how much candidates are expected to pay as development fees?
Basically, Isaac, there are a few things that must always remain in the bedroom, not in the front room. So really, it doesn't mean that I have no idea at all. But in as much as it's not my responsibility to announce that figure, I want to skip and let that cup pass by. And and let those that are charged with that responsibility so deliver.
In fact, this looks like it's one of the key, burdens of some of the candidates. This is Kwabena Ejejepon, who said, quote, "There is a subtle attempt to bring back a fee that was rejected at the National Executive Committee meeting. At that meeting, some regional chairmen even suggested 10 million Ghana cedis, and another said 5 million. I was shocked. Do they even appreciate what is happening in the country to mention such huge sums?" He said, "The only role of the National Council is to set the dates for their primaries, not to introduce money barriers." Are you currently introducing money barriers and preventing some people from contesting this race?
You know, maybe my good friend is having problems raising the funds that is required.
But he wants to be a flag bearer.
But yes, that's what I'm saying. If the National Council, you see, is interchanging the National Executive Committee with the National Council, you have to get things in sequence. And he hasn't gotten it in sequence. Whatever it is, if he feels that the amount so agreed upon by the Electoral Committee and the National Council, not the National Executive, then I believe the best thing to do is take a back seat for now. I cannot go for run because what? Because I am too old to run. Somebody cannot go because he hasn't got what it takes to run. So everybody has the advantage and disadvantages and what have you. And so I believe that ours is a free party, freedom of speech, and development in freedom is our motto. So if he did say that he doesn't agree with what the National Council said, or the committee of the National Council, i.e., the Elections Committee is saying, well, I'm afraid it's either you have an opportunity to ask the National Council to review it, or you comply with what has been done. It may not be the best of situations, but if you think that you need certain level of funding to move forward, then, Isaac, you have to be able to tell them what it is. What is the use in saying we won't get anything, then you come and then you don't even have one vehicle to run around. So I think that that's why they call it the quote-unquote development fee. So it is important that we get some funding, and I think this is part of the funding process. And people, there's an element of relativity in this whole thing. He's saying this is that. So to some people, you should be able to get people who believe in you to mobilize the funds to be able to do that, Isaac.
What sort of candidates is the NPP looking for?
We're looking for candidates who have leadership qualities, who has the ability to lead us to victory. And also, above all, who can also, when in power, really deliver the goods as far as this nation is concerned. Ghana has no business being poor, because I have had the privilege of working for the UN, United Nations, and I was chief of the Regional Bureau for Africa for quite some time, 20 years or something. And I saw the development levels of various African countries, and I know all the countries. And when I see that others have now overtaken us, it's sad. And so we have to have somebody who really dynamic, honest, sincere, who can deal with the issues on the table, but above all, who would make sure that the average Ghanaian is given not shortchanged, and is given the opportunity for them to realize what they can achieve individually, i.e., your ability to progress in the community, in Ghana, should be based on your ability of what you know, what you can do, and not where you're coming from or how much money you have. And it's important. So it's a gamut of issues, qualifications that we really need to put together. And when we synchronize them, then we come with this thing. That is why we are trying to lessen the influence of money. That is why we did the expanded program. So if you have to pay everybody 5 cedi, then it's a lot of money. So sometimes you ask yourself, these are the same people who would go to the constituencies and give money out to them. They call it transport, whatever you call it. But when you are asked to bring money so that the party can organize itself to do that, then it becomes another wahala. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, is the party looking for someone who has been there before in terms of contesting a presidential election before?
No. Though there's nothing like that. The party is looking for a genuine party member who has what it takes to provide the needed leadership for this nation. And for that matter, for our party too. I don't think we are looking for specifically for anybody else, but somebody who has leadership qualities, who is sincere, honest, and above all, who will be appreciated by the people of Ghana so that they can vote for him.
But he had also made this analysis that if you look at our presidential election pattern, somebody who has been on the ballot before always has a chance to win. So why is the party not considering that aspect of the equation?
Why should the fact that you have had a chance in the past does not make you better than the other one? So we are absolutely neutral. Anybody who feels that he has what it takes to run for the leadership contest and can pay the requisite fees that we demand, then they are the ones who should be contesting. So it's not a matter of you have been there before. I think that we must try and depersonalize these issues. If you say somebody who has been there before, then it begins to, no, that's not the way. It begins to create problems for everybody. It is who can do it, whom we think the majority of our members think can do it, and for that matter, we give them the opportunity to have that thing.
You said that you are scared that if you don't solve your internal matters well, the NPP might end up like the CPP. Why do you say so?
Well, I said so not today, but some other time I said that. I told them.
It was just last month.
I told them, and I've said it, yes. If you do not come together, if you do not support each other, if you do not do what would be right for the Ghana people, eventually the party would disappear. Because CPP was there, nobody thought Nkrumah never dies and the CPP would never die. But because they were eating themselves from within and sometimes from without, CPP is not a party that you now you sort of think can win elections. So what we're saying and what I have said and a few other of our colleagues have said that let's work hard. Yes, we are falling. We didn't do too well. We didn't do well, not too well. We didn't do well in the last election. But going forward, let us do what will make the people of Ghana vote for us. You know, governance is not easy. I was reading an Imani report 2 days ago and saying the popularity of the present government
has dwindled.
By 6 months has come down to about half. So it means the people are awake. They want to see who can do the work. And so it's important that we get people who can lead the work. But above all, not only this country, Africa must learn to have individuals who can run governments. It's not a family property, or so the people who can do it, let them do it. And above all, there should be clean politics. Corruption should be eliminated to the greatest degree. And I think that I knew Rwanda before, or even Tanzania where I worked. Somebody called me from Tanzania. He said, "Oh, I went to Tanzania about 2 weeks ago and I didn't see one piece of paper on the street." Leadership is all this. I remember going to a meeting of foreign ministers in 2001 in Morocco. The big speeches, all the foreign ministers of Africa, big speeches. When it got to my turn, I said, Africa's problem is leadership. That's what I want to say. And if we get the right leadership, then it will trickle down and all of us will go far. And leadership is what we have to begin to cultivate young people who have empathy, who have a desire to see this nation move forward. And not young people who want to come and the first thing they want to do, they want to buy a car, or because they want to build a house, and before you know, things we should be going that way is going this way. So leadership is important. Honesty, lack of corruption, everything. This you speak for every country, and for this country is no exception.
In less than 1 minute, you've mentioned the word corruption twice, right? And I think you have seen that movement for change petition to the OSP to investigate Dr. Bawumia for the source of funding for 300 brand new pickups he claimed to have bought for the NPP. Have you heard of that?
Only this afternoon, really, that I got to know. But if people believe in you, I mean, if you cannot mobilize 300 people for everybody to give you one pickup, then you are not really the man or the person. So I think this is all witch hunting and something, the sort of thing that was done also for, again, the Chief Justice and all these other people. This is what I believe should not be pursued in this country at all. I didn't know that it was 300 pickups, but if it's 300, you know how many votes we got? In millions. And so if everybody buys one pickup for you, and there are some who can buy two. So what is it? And then, I mean, are they saying, no, please, let's get to that point straight. Are they saying that the NDC did not buy pickups? They bought pickups. And when we're in government, the NDC also bought pickups. And so if he had bought 300 pickups, so what?
But you speak about people coming in to support you. Aren't you worried about the source of funding? Because many say that, well, if you have 300 people buying you brand new pickups, if you come to power, how do you please everybody? How do you make sure that everybody eats a portion of the cake?
I believe that if you have a system whereby everybody is sincere, whereby the people, see, people always think that it's only the politicians who are corrupt.
But you understand that there's nothing like a free lunch, right?
Wait a minute. The people who are the public servants are sometimes worse. I mean, sometimes when you go through it, you find that this is not what is happening. And so if either of the two major parties has been supported by people, it does not necessarily mean that when you come, then you have to sort of give him back a payday. That's what you do. I don't think so, Isaac. But I believe that our problem in this country is also should be sometimes put squarely, and I saw some people will be upset, but I have to say it, will be put squarely at the door of the public servants. Because if they come and tell you, you're going to create this thing, and they tell you this is how much it's going to cost. You don't have the means. In the past, we used to have the crown agents who would assess whether it was good value for money. We don't have the means to tell you. So what means does the minister has to tell the person that this is a bit too much? No, but because then that is done. And look, some time ago, most of the houses in the airport were owned by public servants. I can tell you, because I started working for government here before in 1965.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, and most of them, and when we went to East Legon, I was the first to build in East Legon, but I saw the people who came there, most of them were public servants. And so why do you always want to think that because somebody, a politician or somebody had bought a pickup for me, that means I have to also pay him back? That is payback time. No, I don't think so. I think that if we do things, we all with a clean, clear mind, we should be able to move this nation forward. And the leadership that we are looking for is a leader who can put all these things aside and make sure that Ghana begins to occupy the higher heights, and it becomes what they call that this country doesn't stay where it is. We shouldn't be where we are now.
I mean, you spoke about the removal of the Chief Justice. She's been fighting back. She says that the president has no constitutional right to use one means to remove her as the Chief Justice and also remove her as the Justice of the Supreme Court. But the president said that, well, we followed all the laid down procedures in terms of the constitutional provisions and procedures, but she's been fighting back. Do you think that maybe at this point she should let it go, or it's a good fight at the moment?
Isaac, I'm not a lawyer. I used to be a farmer. I did agriculture and economics. I don't really know, but in this, the case of animal farm in this nation is worrisome. And so if she thinks she has a case, then let's listen it to with a good heart. And if we made a mistake, yes, none of us is infallible. If the state or the president has made a mistake, well, he can correct it, because, I mean, that's why the politicization of the judiciary is a very dangerous thing. And I don't subscribe for one moment to the fact that this government comes and you move this one away, so this one comes, we also move this one away. And then where we go in as a nation? We are all Ghanaians. We are entitled to whatever it is. So I cannot say, I'm not a lawyer, but she has put it, the case there. I am only praying that they would be able to look at it if it's going to be looked at by the Supreme Court or whatever court it is, do it objectively, and they can even cross their heart and say this is the best thing to do. So that question, I have to beg it because I don't know the answer. And I don't want to say things that I am not sort of privy to, or I'm not briefed on.
There are those who say that, well, your party began this process. You remove the former Electoral Commission boss.
Yes.
Yes, Charlotte Osei. And yes, the same constitutional process is being used to remove the Chief Justice. So why the big fuss?
Is it a tit for tat?
I don't know.
Do two mistakes make a right? No. Is it a tit for tat? No. If we did it and it was wrong, then it means going forward, that's some years back, we shouldn't do that to anybody.
But you said the precedent.
Yeah, you said the precedent. The precedent which you said must be good precedent, not precedent which are bad. So if what we did, if you are saying, by your the questioning and the way you are going, if you are saying what we did was wrong, then it means that no other government should do the same thing. And that is why it's important that we get things right. I mean, we make, as a nation, going forward, we will always make mistakes. But, my friend, it doesn't really mean that because this one did that, so I'm going to do this and that. That is not the way to develop a country, no.
In fact, I mean, 8 years of President Akufo-Addo administration, how close were you to the government? And in fact, were you very close to President Akufo-Addo in his 8 years?
Well, I wasn't part of his inner cabinet or anything, but he was my colleague. In fact, I was the foreign minister, and then he took over from me after 3 years. So we are friends. We both come from the eastern region. We are friends, but I don't think I had a hand in these things. What you want to refer to? But so I think he did his best, and there were difficulties on the way, and we are saying that maybe there are a few things we should have done differently. I don't think to err is human, and if there was a problem, then let us see how best we can do it. But I wouldn't say that I was party to any of the major decisions that were taken.
In fact, they had also said that, well, the president is from the eastern region or hails from the eastern region. You as well, you come from the eastern region. At a point in the dying embers of his government, the eastern region became one of the hotspots for illegal mining, or what now we call galamsey. What was the advice that you gave the president?
I think that when I came into politics from wherever I was, the idea was to treat this nation equally. It's not because the president was from the eastern region. Actually, it never even occurred to me that because he's from the eastern region, no. It was all, if galamsey started, and it's very distressing, absolutely, that you see the damage that galamsey is causing. The Catholic bishops have come, everybody is saying something. And so if I knew, I went to see a few, but if I knew that it was that bad, I did also make my own little noise about the fact that something has to be done. And unfortunately, it's not that easy, because you realize that one thing I ask myself, most countries have gold deposits and small-scale miners, but they don't destroy their water bodies, they don't destroy their farms as we are doing now. And the people were saying that Akufo-Addo was not doing well because the galamsey was this and that and that. Well, 8 months, 9 months down the line, has this government done any better? No. And that's why, in fact, the fight now is even stronger from the Catholic bishop, from the coalition, from everybody saying that we are not tackling the issue the way we should. We must learn from other people. We must learn what to do. Otherwise, believe you me, we'll be importing water, as the people say. And it's very, very, very difficult. Right now, yesterday, I think your own news item said that there was one of the districts or regions, which I remember, haven't put water system in place, that they don't have any water.
Yeah, that's the Kwenyakon.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's the central region, yeah.
So that, it shows these are signs of things to come. So this issue of galamsey would not have, if it came my way, I would never say that because Akufo-Addo is from eastern region. It had no basis, really. I mean...
But that's his home region. You are also from there. You should be able to do something about it. That's Akufo-Addo's home region, the former president's home region, and that's your home region as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It's become one of the hotspots for illegal mining.
So that's why I'm saying that it has nothing to do with ethnicity or where we're coming from. If it's bad, it's bad. And so it's not because Akufo-Addo is coming from. That's what I'm saying. Well, if it's bad, it's bad. I'm talking frankly with you. If it's bad, it's bad. And if he couldn't handle it, and so for that matter, Ghanaians did not vote for us, and this government too cannot handle it, then maybe there's time to also begin to think about a possible change of government, not their way, but our way, i.e. democratically.
How bad were the sins of Akufo-Addo? Was it as red as crimson?
Sorry?
How bad were the sins of Akufo-Addo? Was it as red as crimson?
Well, his sins.
Yes.
Well, Jesus Christ, I am not here to judge people's sins and what have you and the rest.
I mean, political sins.
I'm sorry, that's a question which is quite unfair. You ask me what were his sins. No, he did his best. He did quite a lot of work, but sometimes a few things, one little thing might drop down and then the whole problem comes.
What do you think really affected him in terms of his administration? Everything seemed to be going well, especially between 2017 and 2019. We had COVID. I mean, there was Russia-Ukraine war. What do you think was really the problem, especially in his second term, that became that big challenge that couldn't help him to sail through?
The challenges were of a multiple nature. And I believe that looking back, maybe we should have done a few things differently.
Yeah.
And this was not done. So in the process, the economy began to be shaky and difficulties erupted and things came up the way they did. But I don't really think that he ad personam per se was personally responsible for this. I think he had a team to work with, and if there were difficulties. And maybe also that has nothing to do at all with the difficulties, but maybe the Ghana chess game of you do 2 years and I do 2 terms and I do 2 terms and you do 2 terms and things like that. So really, it's a passé. It's gone. It's gone. So we will face the sun so that you won't see the shadow behind you.
But I'd also still remind you about the bad side of the Akufo-Addo administration, and say that it played a significant role in the humiliating defeat you had in 2024. So how do you expect them to go ahead when it's still fresh in the minds of people?
No, but that's what I'm saying, that even in the 9 months that this government has in power, Imani, whom everybody knows has been supporting them, now comes and he say, hey, you are down already by your approval rating by over 50%. So it's not a matter of anybody favoring somebody, but what is on the ground. And if a few things went wrong and a few things went right also, then let's say, if you want to talk about it, free education and this, and when Akufo-Addo came, we also had national health insurance, this, that. So things were done, but it's a whole plethora of difficulties and issues that sometimes you don't resolve in one go. It happened in UK, it happened in several places. They were quite. Last year was a year where most governments fell globally, fell and they lost, whether it's the Conservative Party or these people and that, all over. So really, this is what happened, and I believe that, I'm sure you are not satisfied with my answer, but the thing is that I don't have a definitive answer for that. And I must be honest, I don't agree with you that it's because he comes from the Eastern region, that's why I'm not saying, but sometimes you don't have the answer. And I think that there are a few things that I say we should have done differently, which we didn't do.
I'm sure you have seen the numerous post-mortem reports your party has done on why you lost the 2024 election. Was there any part that specifically mentioned, certain things that were done in the SWAL administration that didn't really go well with the voters?
Well, the document that was put together by my good friend, Professor Okwei, have not been privy to it. It's been kept by the General Secretary. And I don't know. But we could all see
You've not gone through at all?
No, I have
you
not
don't know its
seen
content?
It, but I have asked now to see it.
And the Council of Elders, the chairman?
Yes, I've now asked to see it because they didn't give it to us. Came out about 2 months ago, and then I haven't seen it. But out of that came the report of the committee that looked at our constitution. I think based on that, the few things in our constitution are going to change, and hopefully that will help us to chart a course that will be more productive, and that will be will let us.
The latter parts of the Akufo-Addo administration, there were certain MPs or some MPs who were calling for the removal of the then Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. At that point in time, did you support that call, or you felt that he should have?
My what?
Were you part of those who supported the calls for the removal of Ken Ofori-Atta when things weren't really going well for the party or for the government in terms of the economic indicators?
What is not my schedule, what is not my business, it's not my business.
So at that point, it wasn't your business?
I did see that, and I did try to look at some understanding. In the final analysis, the Constitution gives whoever is the president the power to do what he has to do. And I don't think that alone is what was the cause of it. And if people are pursuing individuals based on some of hearsay, then it's quite unfortunate. And so that issue of the president not moving Ken Ofori-Atta from where he was an issue. And it helped us because some of our members in Parliament publicly rebelled. And that was also not helpful at all. But for me, I don't know what he did that demanded anything. There was no committee or somebody to look into what Ofori-Atta had done. That's why I don't think it's an issue that I have an answer to. But what I did was to tell them, look, let us look at the issues and see what. But before then, then he was eventually changed, wasn't he? But maybe too late that he was changed.
So when you say maybe too late, what do you really mean?
Say that again.
When you say maybe too late, what do you really mean?
No, what I'm saying that you said what happened and whether I was supporting or not supporting, whatever, and the rest. But I'm saying that when it was done, you see, when you have a group of people coming together to form a political party, there are various interests all over the place. And when they decided to ask the president to reshuffle his cabinet, in fact, indeed, it's no secret, our general secretary also did say that the president should reshuffle it. Eventually, he did it, but maybe he did it too late. But sometimes, when you wear the shoe, it's only when you wear it that you know where it has. So maybe at that time, it was not the most propitious to carry out a mass review of the situation of the ministerial situation, of ministerial portfolios that people were occupying. So it's gone, it's come and gone. It's part of history. And going forward, we would know what to do. And I think the people say there was not too much consultation, but the Constitution gives that authority, because when Rawlings crafted the Constitution, he crafted it for himself. And so it's happened. And then, but I think that things will change, because we are changing within our party. And I think, I don't know what the Constitutional Review Committee will bring, but they may also change.
But have you been invited to possibly bring your inputs? Has the Constitutional Review Committee
I didn't have to be invited. I mean, if you felt you have something to say, you could go there. I did not appear before them personally, but I took part in certain discussions and with friends who had issues that I agreed with, and they made the presentation. But I personally did not appear before the committee. No.
On the tangent of the 8 years of President Akufo-Addo, if I ask you to...
Why are you still that?
If I ask you to rate him or score him out of 10, 8 years, what will be your mark?
I think if you have to take it sector by sector, really.
No, I want the overall.
Overall?
Yes.
Maybe over 10.
Yes.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. I want a more specific answer.
Sorry?
I want a more specific,
so out
score.
of 10?
Out of 10?
Maybe 8.
8. That's an excellent performance.
Well, to a large extent, but there were also some difficulties, yeah. And I didn't think that that was the issue. I didn't look at my statistics properly because your producer said we're going to talk about what we have done to our people, telling them not to behave themselves and not to kind of...
we've done that, right? Significantly.
I thought that was all political party issues we're going to discuss. I could have taken a look at it and said, what do I mean? Maybe I'm a bad teacher, so I don't mark well, but I think he did his best. I think he did his best. Because it was difficult. And COVID and all those things brought a lot of difficulty. Then galamsey and this and that and that. It was difficult.
Maybe you know your internal party matters, but it's important to talk about the current government, right? It's been 8 months so far. Has it been so far so good for you, or you think that, well, certain things aren't going well? If you look at on the economic front, fuel prices haven't really gone up like the way they did in the dying members of the Akufo-Addo administration. Exchange rate, though, went as low as 10.25, is now around 13 or 14 cedis to the dollar. What's your assessment of the first 9 months of the President Mahama administration? Are you satisfied?
Well, see, it's a rainbow. Several other things. There are certain issues that I'm satisfied with, that I'm not. But basically, I believe that what makes democracy is fairness and justice. And as far as that is concerned, I don't say so. I mean, for example, the government didn't think it was worth our while to give us the reasons why several people who were being prosecuted were all of a sudden nolly prosecuted, as they say it. I mean, that they no longer pursuing it. So sometimes that one will not make people happy. There are other things that make people happy. So for now, I would go by what Imani, who have done a detailed study of it, are saying, and I go by it. But we could have, in any situation, you can say you could have done better. But this is difficult for me to, I haven't really done any assessment or what I'm saying is what I've read. But there are quite a few things that has really upset me, especially if somebody is charged with a misdemeanor, then they put you on a Black Maria, and it's not the best. Now a judge is happy to be called an animal farm judge? No, that is not the best thing to do. So these things are happening, and I believe that they shouldn't happen. But they can always happen on the blind side of the president. But if they do, then the action must be taken to correct it. Galamsey has gotten worse.
Do you support the calls for state of emergency?
For what?
For the calls for a state of emergency to fight galamsey. Do you belong to that school of thought?
If that is the way to go, they are experts. I remember President Akufo sent some people to China to learn on small-scale mining. But if that is the way to go to correct the situation, yes, then I'll support it. But is it the way to go? you just don't sebit a fracture, they say in our language. Get up and say, declare state of emergency. What are the details? What are we declaring state? I've declared state of emergency. So what? What is it? So let us get a list of when you declare state of emergency, the thing that you go through and thing that will happen, then that must happen, and for that matter, then begin to solve the problem, salvage the river bodies and systems and everybody. So really, I don't think just saying declare emergency per se is the situation, but if there are other steps before that, then let's quickly go through them to see whether we can resolve.
So you agree with the president when he says that, well, we are going through other steps. If you look at the state of emergency, we are not there yet. It's not a necessary condition at the moment. Do you agree with the president?
With the utmost of respect, that is his view, that we are not there yet. But some people think that if that is, I always prefix my thing, say, if the state of emergency is what will solve the situation, then by all means do it. But if it's not, the be it all and end it all, if it's not going to be the thing that will solve the situation immediately, then you have to look at it and do it properly. Otherwise, you might find that you have made the situation even worse. And the state of emergency is not something that you do just like that. I mean, you have to go through certain motions and you have to give the populace advice and why you are doing that sort of thing. So the state of emergency, I would want that to begin to expatiate on what would be the...
I mean, we need to do the pros and cons, look at the whole situation.
What would that achieve? UK now, the Thames Water was fined £850 million or something because the water was polluted. And so water is very important. So the earlier we find the solution to this, the better. And if I'm saying, if state of emergency is the one that should do it, then let's do it. But if there are other ways of doing it, also let it, because the moment you start state of emergency, every little thing, no, it doesn't. But that's a major issue. So I think that those who are calling for state of emergency have up their sleeves the reasons why and how we would go to make sure that we achieve the results. If you have a state of emergency and you don't achieve the result, then you would have really disturbed the constitutional processes for nothing.
Let's circle back to internal matters, and I'm looking at party returnees, those who have left the party and possibly are hoping to come back, or I mean your amnesty period and all of that. And I'm reading this from Justin Frimpong-Kodia, who is the General Secretary of the party. He made a statement in May of 2025. He said, quote, "If you were with us and you left on your own, we cannot just bring you back." He said, he also said that such people, if they are willing to rejoin the party, must write officially to indicate their desire to return for the party to decide whether to accept them or not. Is that the general stance of the party?
Yes, that is it. Because, if people think they can, it's not like, with the utmost of respect, like your living room and you go in and out, go in and out. No, you come in. Some people said, there are a few of them, without mentioning names, who resigned, then came back, then resigned, then came back. It's not a child game, it's not a child play. What the General Secretary is saying makes a bit of sense, because he is saying that if you come, then some undertakings might be taken. You don't come and disturb us. If you've gone, then if you want to stay where you are, stay. But if you come back, then we should have preconditions for you to do that thing. So I believe that, but I think that in the past we have been too liberal, lenient with people who have done that, and eventually disturbed our forward march to better organization and things like that. And then when they go, they don't only shut their mouth, they begin to say all manner of things which never took place in the party, but people believe that because they are coming from within, it's almost like the crocodile coming from water to tell the fish, or the fish coming from the crocodile to tell the fish from the water to say the crocodile is dead. And they have been quite a bit of a nuisance for me personally, and that's my personal opinion. I think that if they come, the conditions should be stringent, and people who have done it 2-3 times must not even be considered at all. That's my personal opinion.
If Alan Chamanten writes to the party officially that he wants to return, will the party accept him?
I am not the party.
But you're the chairman of the Council of Elders?
I will have a personal view. I'm not the party, so the party will have to discuss. I remember Darocha, whom we all revere, Mr. B.J. Darocha, when he resigned the first time, he said, good riddance. Darocha said so. And he was a chairman at that time, he said, or maybe just the immediate past chairman. So I really don't know. When it comes, it will be discussed. And I believe that sometimes you begin to wonder whether, and I'm being very frank with you in this interview, you begin to wonder whether it's deliberately meant to scuttle our front and make us lose. Sometimes I wonder, because there was absolutely no need. If you have a nationwide election and one person gets into a fisticuff, a fight, and then say, because of that I'm running. Well, if you want to form your own political party, have the courage to say, I am forming my political party. Don't link that to the fact that the party was not able to protect you.
But how did his departure affect your party in the 2024 election?
Well, even one vote is even important. And they took a few thousands of votes. So not only that,
especially from the Ashanti region.
But they had these boys go on television and say all manner of sins and insults and what have you, and people always, they were with them once upon a time, so what they are saying is true. And it wasn't helpful to us. So if you want to come, you join a party, you have to behave yourself. And I don't think that in future we shall, I would not cast my vote for such a situation at all. In future, if you create problems for us, you go. I mean, we can go on. Life goes on. Darocha left that one. Alajete left that one. Alajete at one point even left our party. When he was speaker, one time, and when President Akufo was not appointing him speaker again, he went to NDC side. NDC supported him against us. But politics is quite interesting. And this is the sort of thing that we shouldn't be encouraging at all. In new cases, right now, some people from conservatives are going to reform.
Yeah.
But if you go, stay there. Stay there with your problem. Don't come and do that again. But those they were the leaders who created the problem. But the young one, that were following them, the mass followers, should come back. They should come back because they know that they are not going to go anywhere.
Your final words before we end the show. 2026 flag bearer race. Do you see a runoff?
Do I see what?
A runoff.
Runoff. I never engaged in lotto or lottery in my life, but I don't know. I don't know. It's possible. Anything is possible in this human endeavor.
So a runoff is possible?
Anything is possible, but I don't see it. I don't know. For me, I stay as neutral as I can. I don't, even though I'm aware that even the electoral commissioner also casts a vote, I don't get myself involved in these things, in predictions and what have you. No, I don't. But what I do, I want them to do, is to have a decent campaign where they don't insult themselves, where they don't give ammunition to the other side to throw back at us. So I want to see everybody, and believe you me, if anybody does anything that will bring the party into disrepute, we shall not hesitate. And I'll be leading that team. We shall not hesitate to make sure that that person is called to order and sanctions applied. And if we have to name and shame, we will do that. The time has come for us to be very serious in our party, and to make sure that we don't have people thinking that the party have money, so it's the beck and call of them, and we'll do that. No, that is not it. Because at the end of the day, we have one political party, and our constitution says so very, very clearly. We form political parties to win power. And if you don't want us to win power, then you better make your way out.
Hackman Owusu Ajman, he's been a great guest. He says that in the 2026 flag bearership race, anything is possible. He doesn't want to engage in lottery, but he says anything is possible. Thank you so much for being our guest. This has been PM Express with me, Isaac Kofi J. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. Do have a great night.